Each week, millions of people worship God. Most of those people believe that they're doing something beneficial, that it is something that improves their life because they're worshiping God. They believe that they're doing something that's pleasing to God. They believe that they're following what God has said. But in truth, most of the people in this world, when they worship God, it does them absolutely no good at all. It is worthless worship. Listen to what Jesus says in Mark chapter 7, verses 5 through 9. The Pharisees and the scribes asked him, "Why do your disciples not walk according to the tradition of the elders, but eat their bread with impure hands?" And he said to them, "Rightly did Isaiah prophesy of you hypocrites, as it is written, 'This people honors me with their lips, but their heart is far away from me. But in vain do they worship me, teaching as doctrines the precepts of men. Neglecting the commandment of God, you hold to the tradition of men.'" He was also saying to them, "You are experts at setting aside the command of God in order to keep your tradition." Jesus called the worship of the Pharisees vain worship. In vain do they worship me. Vain means worthless. It wasn't doing them any good. They might as well have not even been worshiping God at all. Why was it vain? Because they were following the traditions of men. They were following their own formula for worship. Look around you the next time that you're worshiping. Make sure that everything that you do when you worship God is something that God has specifically commanded you. Do not listen to your priest or your preacher or anybody else that's telling you this is how you worship God. The only way that you can know for sure is to look in your Bible and to see how God has commanded us to worship Him. Your worship will be drastically different from the millions of so-called Christians that worship God worthlessly every day. Jesus said in John chapter 4, verses 23 through 24, that the true worshipers of God, meaning that there's false worshipers of God, but the true worshipers of God must worship Him in spirit and in truth. If you don't worship God according to His truth, and if you don't do it in spirit, then you are not worshiping God correctly. We have to study His Word to find out exactly how He wants us to worship Him. Because just doing it following the traditions of men makes it worthless worship. And that is not pleasing to God.